missed turning in, and at Daytona, about another probably 100 yards, you go through the road and you come back on to the banking. So if you pass through there and you miss turn one and miss coming on the banking, you're disqualified. So I was really braking hard and slowed down, turned around, came back, and the corner workers made me wait the entire field until the entire field went by. And I thought, God, and I went to bed early. This is not fair. Took off, and I was driving with Richie Ginther, who was a fantastic race driver in that era, and we started coming back. We ended up finishing third. We came in for a pit stop, and at that time we had the colliding gearbox, which was not a great gearbox, and Carol wanted to make sure and Phil and everyone that we were very smooth with the gearbox. But I had a lot of test miles, so I shifted it real smooth, but they didn't realize it. So we had to make up time. So Richie and I just got back in and started storming. Yeah, but after this pit stop, we were delayed probably 15 minutes. 15 minutes as a race is a long time. Came back on, and I would see someone giving me pit signals, one lap or slow down. Carol was telling me, slow down, and we had to go quick to get back up there. So finally, he had a knockoff hammer in his hand, and he was waving that son of a gun, and in. So I came in. We had an interesting argument in the pits. It lasted maybe 3 minutes. He said, get out of the car. I said, no, I'm not getting out of the car. He said, get out of the car, you're going too fast. I said, no, I'm not getting out, Carol. We're wasting a hell of a lot of time going through all this bullshit. Let's just go. So I finally said, okay, the Ford guys are going to tell him to pull me in. So we went back out, and we go like hell through the infield, the back part of the track, come by the pits, slow by. Stand on the gas and go like hell again. And it pleased Carol, but the Ford guys probably didn't like it too much. But anyway, we still finished third. But this race in 1965 was a fantastic year for me. And that we went back to Europe. In 64, we almost won the World Manufacturers Championship in US by 5 points. So that was good though, because then Ford sent us back. So I was fortunate enough in 65 to win every race that we ran. We won the World Manufacturers Championship. And the most important part about that is we beat Ferrari for the very first time in the World Manufacturers Championship. And before we left Europe to come back here to race at the second, which is where this race is, I got word from Ferrari to come down and meet with them. So I did. And Ferrari was a very statuesque gentleman. And we all know Ferrari. He was a great, great man. And he had his image, or he had his desire to build the best cars, the fastest cars, and he did. I was honored to even have a call from him to come down. I met him in his office, and he asked me lots of questions about my life, would I like to live in Ferrari and live in Italy? I said yes, I was driving a Ferrari Formula One car. And then he asked it several different ways and different times. I answered it different ways. I said, well, I could drive a prototype, a prototipo. And possible Formula Uno, Signor Ferrari. He said, possible, Bondurant, possible. In other words, shut up. And it meant possible. He gave me a wonderful tour through the race shops. He pointed out the prototype cars, the beautiful Ferraris, the Formula cars, Formula One cars, they're beautiful. And I went back up to Monza to do, I was there for the Formula One race just to look at it, watch it. I had a promise from Brabham and Cooper and Honda to possibly do a test drive if they had no problems, but they all had problems, so I didn't do it. But English team had a spare Formula 3 car, and the car that they had was not a real competitive car, but we ran the Formula 3 race, we ended up winning it, and Ferrari's right-hand man was greeting me, thanking me, congratulating me. And he said, possible Formula 1? I said, possible Bondurant. So anyway, I went back to England where I was staying, waited by the phone for 2 weeks, finally got a call to come back to the factory, get fitted for a Formula 1 car, and I raced the US Grand Prix. Started 23rd, and worked my way up to 6th, and then it was pouring down rain. Had a problem. We had goggles only then. The elastic band, the goggles stretched, blew down. I couldn't see. Had another pair of goggles in the pits, but I spoke no Italian, so obviously I didn't do much about it. So I decided, okay, another way to do this, and put the knee under the steering wheel to hold it straight. Hold your finger on the goggles, going down the straightaway, into the corner, you know. Keep this going with the right hand shift. And then I found out I went down straightaway, I could take my hand off the goggles, they'd sort of stay in your face, but they blew around a lot. So anyway, I finished the race, finished 9th. That was my first race in Formula 1 with Ferrari. It's fantastic. The next year, this year we came home, and I was driving I need to look up the cars too. This is at Monza in 1966. Second ride I had with Ferrari. First ride was at Sebring with Mike Parks. We led the race for a long time, and the Gurney and Ken Miles and the big bore Ford GT40s passed us. We lost second gear, got stuck in neutral, and that was it. But this race here at Monza is a very fast track and a fun track to drive as a racetrack. It was very competitive. And we ran here, we ran all the tracks in Europe for Ferrari in all the long distance races. We did well. We also that year, which leads me into the school, trained James Garner, Yvonne Tan, Brian Bedford, and Sabato for the movie Grand Prix. John Frankenheimer hired me as a technical advisor, and they filmed this race in Europe of all the Formula 1 races. I also drove a privately owned BRM that Formula 1 season, and was in every Formula 1 race we ran. Worked on the movie a week before the race, a week after the race, and we would see what was going on. If you see the camera is on the helmet, one lens is facing forward looking at the instrument panel, the other one's looking where I'm going. So this is early film technology, and it worked. It worked very well. We did well with that whole film. The film itself, the movie Grand Prix, someone just told me they just saw it recently. It's fantastic. It's the best racing movie ever. And we were with James Garner 2 weeks ago with Peterson. He's doing well, and he's a great guy, but he's got bad knees, and he couldn't come to tonight. He really wanted to, but he really couldn't. What's that? Who is that? Well, after Grand Prix, we came back to the States, and I ran the Canyon Series. Midway through the Canyon Series, came out of a high-speed turn in my McLaren car, and the steering broke at 150 miles an hour. Went off the road, hit the embankment, went up in the air. People told me as high as the telephone pole, and went ran sideways 8 times. Took the bottom out of the car and broke my feet, my ankles, my legs, ribs, and a few things, and laying in a hospital. I'm going to tell you this is just a second. I have to get to this. So what happened? Laying in the hospital, the doctors, I said, I don't like being in a hospital, so how long am I going to be here? And they said, well, you're going to be here for quite some time. So I said, well, can I have the good news and the bad news? And he said, sure. He said, the good news is your ribs will heal, your legs will heal, but you have a chip in your lower vertebrae and I can't allow you to sit up or you become paralyzed. I said, oh, that's nice. Is that the bad news? He said, that's part of it. And I said, what's the other bad news? The other bad news, he said, you're never going to walk again. Because I'd broken my ankles and my feet and all the bones. And so I thought, wow, I mean, I've always been active. I can't imagine not walking. And I figured that day, I thought, somehow I'm going to walk. I don't know how just yet, but you know, determination, the positive determination that makes you do things and think things that just happen for you. And the whole school's been this way. My whole life has been this way. So I'm sitting at actually at a car show here, and the nice thing about having broken legs and things, the girls like to come up and say, "Oh, Mike, can I help you?" I said, "Well, of course." I can't do much. What can you do in that state? So I did heal. And I was able to walk again. Started my school on Valentine's Day, 1968. Then I got a phone call from Universal Studios to train Paul Newman and Robert Widener for a movie called Winning. And this was part of that training. This is Robert Widener, number 42, IndyCar, back at Indy. And then I built a high-speed camera car, which is the other car, it's the Lola T70. And we filmed at Indy. We filmed, put Paul and Robert in the Can-Am cars and the stock cars, and they did a really good job. Now Paul, when he first came to the school, I said, why do you want to do this? He said, there's 3 other movies I can do to make a lot more money, but I want to see if I can drive a race car. And I think all of you know from the movie Winning, he finally got a chance to drive it. In the process, he sponsored my Can-Am car. I recuperated and was able to drive again. I drove Can-Am cars again for another 3 years, and Paul Newman sponsored us, so which was great. He was a super guy. I talked to him last week. He said, unfortunately, he could not be here, but he said congratulations, and I love Paul. He's a great guy, great friend. So I started the school, and if you look over at the lineup of cars, and when you walked in here tonight, you would have seen a white Datsun 2-liter Roadster sitting out there. That's one of these cars right here. Now I went in to get sponsorship. I forgot to tell you a little detail. When I started walking, I wanted to start the school, and I didn't have the money to start the school. So again, you get an idea of what you want to do, figure out how to do it, and there's a way that always comes to you if you keep looking at it and searching it, and you don't give up on an idea. And so I decided I'm going to sponsor to get sponsors for my school, just like I would a race team. So I called Porsche. I had also done for Porsche at the Nürburgring. They did well there. And so I walk in. I had a buddy of mine drive me over to the Porsche, what do you call it, office. And he wheeled me in my wheelchair, my legs still in cast. And I handed him a nice proposal. We talked it over. And he said, I think it's a good idea. But how do we know we can trust you to do this? I said, you don't, but I'm going to do it, whether I do it with you, Porsche, or I do it with someone else. So they said, we'll just observe you. I said, okay, cool. So my buddy drove me down to Datsun, and went in there, met the marketing manager, and he called in the president of Datsun, and that was Mr. Katayama. Now, Mr. Katayama came in the office, listened to my proposal, and really what I wanted was, he said, what do you need? I said, I need a 510 sedan, 1600 roadster and a 2-liter roadster, and I need some parts. I don't know how well the car is going to stay together. You don't either, I'm sure. But that was my first sponsorship. Mr. Katayama was here. We saw him last year in Southern California. He's 93 years old, sharp as a tack, a super guy. Whenever he comes over here to the school, he says, "Can you take me for hot laps?" And at 93, this guy is cool. This guy is really cool. And so we always take him for hot laps. Wonderful man. So the start of the school was with the Dawsons. The third year was with Porsche. And then Dawson came on board again for Mr. Katayama, who's the father of the Z car. And we talked to him about the new 360Z. He's so proud to have that come back on. But we've been very, very fortunate in what we do and the people we've had working for us and what we've been able to turn out as far as great race drivers, people that have great fun, learn a lot, they're a lot safer, and have fun doing it. We've trained over 85,000 people in this 35 years, which is pretty remarkable. And the neat thing about it is that when everyone leaves the school here, they leave with a smile on their face. They've had a challenge, a personal challenge, they've met it, and they love it. That's really cool. What do we have here? 73. This is up at Sears Point Raceway where we had our Z cars, and they worked really well. Then we have a Citroen line. Water. Oh, water. Thank you. Champagne. Okay. My friends are coming forward. Champagne. Hey, cool. Hey. No, that was Don Reagan. Now, Don Reagan and I grew up together over in Westwood Village. I didn't know you were going to be here. This is great. He comes so I can tell him the truth. I'm sure he has some other stories. But, just a second. Thanks, Don. I'll keep it. At Sears Point, we started a new thing. I always wanted to figure out how I can show the track off and the school off to students before they go out on the track. We did by videotape some, then I bought a van. And we started giving students rides in the van because I wanted to experience the field, see the track, and we still do this today. And anyone that's here, I know we have a lot of guys here that are graduates, and also everyone rides in the van. We take the van out and go flat out for 2 laps. We're nice first to you, drive you through all the maneuvers, see what they're like, see what you can expect. Then we take you for the van ride. Van rides are great. Everyone that goes to the school participates in a van ride by hanging on and hoping they make it back. They do. We have T-shirts. We've accomplished the van ride. What are we doing here? Okay. They can't play yet. So we do that every group of students that come in. I love it. The picture here you're looking at is the Sears Point Raceway. We had a few cars there, and that's 1979, obviously. 1981, more Z's. We have a Z car that's out front here, and we've restored that one. That car runs good. In fact, straight away, it'll out accelerate the Mustang GT or the SVT Cobra to about 1/8 of a mile. Then the Cobra goes wide. Those cars were really good. They were quick, they handle well. And we also knew that every 5 months or 6 months, you break a rear axle. But it had a safety hub on it, so you never lost the wheel. So we just changed them out every 5 months and went on. It was great. When we ended up in 87, this was our fleet. It grew and grew and grew. And then we switched over to Ford Motor Company. We had Ford with us for 19 and a half years. They've been great. It worked really good. Unfortunately, Ford had disc problems, and we came under some of those problems. So we've now switched over to General Motors. The nice thing about General Motors is they are growing rapidly in performance. Most of you took rides or drove the Corvette C5s this afternoon, also the CTS Cadillacs over on the autocross. You found out they work really well. It's a 5-speed rear-wheel drive car. They have great plans for the future. We're a part of those plans and proud to be a part of those plans along with the Corvette. So I can talk for a long time, but I know the music wants to come down. But when I came down here 13 years ago, this was just dirt out here. Charlie Allen, Charlie Allen, are you still here? Charlie Allen runs Firebird Raceway. We worked out a deal to take a piece of property that we're on right now that was just dirt. And I designed our own racetrack and our own buildings, offices, everything. And it's turned out absolutely fantastic. And I'm proud to be here after 13 years and proud to be here overall 35 years. And I'm very pleased to have each and every one of you here tonight. So thank you, have fun, and we'll get the band going. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have some presentations. First of all, before we start with Bob's presentations, which will take a little bit longer, we do have one employee that we have to honor. This school has been in business for 35 years, and for 20 years, this employee has been loyal to Bob Bondurant. Mike McGovern, our chief instructor, I hope you're still here. Mike? Mike is a very key element of the operations of the school. And I'm going to let Bob just tell you real quickly how he started.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Bob.
Congratulations. Thank you, Mike. He was out there today in the pit lane making everything happen out there. Now, Mike started up at Sears Point Raceway as a fleet tech, then worked in the shop. And in the shop, you work your tail off. We have to make sure every single car is ready to go on time. And we have a great performance record. You did a great job. He also said, I'd like to instruct. And I said,
You didn't really want me to in the beginning, did you?
no, he didn't have the experience. So, fortitude, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, he started instructing, and he started doing a very good job. Do you remember what you did first?
I worked with a lot of local police department and also the, what would they call it, the park and ranger folks. Yeah.
So we gave him the shitty job first. Not really. But we start all of our instructors out with basics, 1 days, 2 days, 3 day students. And he's just started doing better and better. And he's turned out to be a fantastic instructor, very loyal, and does an absolute fantastic job with everybody. And Mike, really love you and appreciate what you do for us, and I have a little gift for you.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. Thank you. I would just like to say, first of all, congratulations to you, Bob, and thank you for your loyalty to me. On behalf of myself and my entire family, we appreciate everything that you do for us. And for me, it's been more like an adventure working for the Bondurant School. It's not really work. So thank you again.
Now, one thing that happened at the school with Mike, he met a gal that was working for us. And he decided he wanted to get married. Then he decided he wanted to get married here at the school. Yes? Can we help you, sir?
It's your car.
It's my car?
There's a phone message here for you.
There's a phone message? Hello? Yes. Yeah. Oscar Kovaleski. Crazy Oscar Kovaleski, he's great. Thank you very much. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Oscar Kovaleski. He likes to talk a lot. Thank you, Oscar. We got to continue. Thank you very much. My new race car, it's a little slower, but, you know, it gets around. It doesn't burn gas, so, you know, that's cool. No, he's got the decal upside down. There we go. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oscar. Great guy. Okay, bye.
See, Bob, I did that with my left hand.
I saw that. I saw that. Thank you, John. Oh, what a day. What a night. But I have to get back to his lady who worked at the school at the front desk. Gotta hang on a minute. They got hooked up together and they said they would like to get married. Well, that's great, you know. Said, we'd like to get married here at the school. I said, get married at the school? What do you want to do? He said, I want to have a great wedding at the school. And they did. They really did. And you have to tell us how that worked, how that happened.
Well, we set up the instructor cars. We put people in the instructor cars. So instead of walking down the aisle, we drove people to the ceremony. And Bob drove, marched her around the track, and it was very exciting. And I still hear about it every now and then. Your wedding was the best wedding I've ever been to. So, you know, if you ever want to get married, this is a good place to do it.
We do everything here. Congratulations, Mike. Thank you. That's a great job.
Just one question, Mike. Is it true that you have the name Bondurant tattooed somewhere on your body?
No, I don't.
Okay, put that rumor to rest. All right, now we have some presentations for Bob. I've got Kelly Salloway and Rick Sistone, who is our merchandise manager, who have come up with an array of things. I'll let them take it from here.
1972 Datsun 240Z, one of the first significant cars at the school. Limited edition model that was sent to you. Congratulations. Can you talk about the next one?
Bob, I'm going to be kind of wordy on this next one, so you're going to have to forgive me. I'm stealing the mic from you. We had a motivational speaker here this morning, Brigadier General Steve Ritchie, and he talked to us. Where are you? Please, stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Steve Ritchie, an American war ace, the only American pilot ever to shoot down 5 MiG jets. He also taught me a very valuable lesson this morning. And the words have been going over and over in my head. He stressed the fact of making the impossible possible. General Ritchie obviously made the impossible possible. He shot down 5 MiGs in the Vietnam War. Bob has made the impossible possible after suffering a devastating accident to come back and accomplish 35 years of incredible success when doctors told him he couldn't even walk again. Have you guys had the opportunity to see him drive? Phenomenal. But Bob, the next gift, please, Mr. Bob Bondurant. The next gift that I want to present to you, Bob, these words were written by the company that actually made this die-cast replica of car 24. And it's an unusual die-cast because it's been weathered. It's not a before-race vehicle, it's an after-race vehicle. Yes, it is. And you have that picture hanging upstairs of car 24. And they wrote some pretty interesting words about you and your driving abilities and making the impossible possible. And if you give me a minute here, I'd like to read it. Even though, this was August 15th, 1965, for those of you who can remember that. Even though the championship was already in the bag, Mann's contract required the team's participation at the last event of the year in Enna, Sicily. The team endured deliberate and blatant delays in tech inspection that were aimed squarely at Bob Bondurant, the leader of the drivers who had beaten Ferrari in the GT championship. Team orders again dictated that Bondurant run second to Sears being another driver, of course. Instead of falling back, however, Bondurant drafted the Englishman. Aggravated by his teammates' aggressive driving, Sears purposely kicked up dust and stones in Bondurant's path. When a large stone finally broke the windscreen, Bondurant donned his goggles and went racing. Bondurant pursued the leaders and quickly took the overall lead from Vaccarella's Ferrari prototype, the first time a GT car ever held the overall lead against prototypes. Soon after taking the lead, Bondurant made a rare, quote, rare mistake, losing it in a long sweeper. Pointed in the right direction, he would catch the prototypes again and soon regained the lead. In the end, Bondurant was forced to reduce his pace due to tire wear. He also became the victim of Italian officials who turned a regular pit stop into a nightmare. Bondurant and the team settled for third overall and the GT class victory. Politics may have cost them their last chance for an overall victory, but Bob Bondurant had proved that it was possible. Again, an example of Bob making the impossible possible. One more gift for you, Bob. This next gift is from everyone at the school, and to let you know it is a premier edition, one-of-a-kind, 35th anniversary, all lambskin, Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving 35th anniversary racing jacket. Let's see that famous thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I have a few other people in the crowd that would like to give Bob a presentation. Come on up, please.
In 1968, I was the road test editor at Motor Trend magazine, and Bob's school was in Orange County Raceway. We used to do our fifth wheel testing at Orange County Raceway, and whenever I'd have a muscle car with a stick shift, which was most of the time, Bob would be really hot to drive all the new cars. So I'd say, let me sit in the passenger seat, Bob. So Bob became my personal driving instructor in 1968. Anyway, I have a picture blown up from those days and give it to you here.
Well, what happened, he would come out to test the car for road and track. And I kept watching, I thought, well, you know, this one looks like it should work pretty good. This one not quite as good. And I jump in and kind of stand on the gas and find out what worked. And I said, well, you know, you say, well, gee, the understeer's real bad, or oversteer's real bad. The way you drive a car, you can make it do anything you want it to do, good or bad. And I said, well, you need to do this with it. Remember that, Bill? And And that was the instruction, early instruction. But from that, we started teaching all the editors and guys that test the cars for all the magazines. And all of a sudden, the testing got better. Some of the guys went racing. It's really cool.
Bob, I want you to notice the sideburns in 1968.
The style was different then. But now we're in style. Let's hear some music and have a great evening. Thanks an awful lot. Thanks. Well, we have one more. This one looks good too. Well, number 5 wasn't. Number 5 we won it wrong. Can everyone see this car? This is a Cobra Daytona Coupe, replica of the car that Dan Gurney and I went at Le Mans with. This is fantastic. And VJ Anderson is the guy that put this all together. VJ, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I always like your driving and what you have done, and we like to give you one of this. I hope the number 5 is okay. If not, we do a 26 for you. But this is up to you what you like to do. But this is the car you're going to have. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. With the car. Okay, thanks everyone. Here we go. And these guys are great.
Hey, let's hear it one more time for Bob Bondurant. Come on, man. Happy anniversary, man.